Okay, this is just kind of a quick run through of what we did today in class, right? And so pretty much what we were working with was a couple questions like, right, if you take a tall pea plant, right? So the tall pea plant, okay, is going to have a genotype of big T, little t, right? And then if he was crossed with a short pea plant, which would be little t as a genotype, right? And what we talked about is that with a heterozygous genotype, okay, that means you're going to have a big T and a little t. Okay, what that means is that big T is the one that's showing when it's a phenotype. So when we have a heterozygous tall, that means that the big T is the gene that would code for being tall. Okay, where the little t would code for being short. And the only way that's ever going to show up is if you have an offspring like this one over here, which has a short, which is a homozygous recessive, which is little t, little t. Okay, and so we talked about today putting those onto a Punnett square, right? And so each one of these squares really makes up 25%. All right, so you have 25% here, 25% there, 25% there, and 25% there. Okay, so meaning there's a 25% chance of getting the genotypes that are in each one of these squares. So in this case, we're going to have a heterozygous parent, right, big T, little t, crossed with a homozygous recessive, which is a little t, little t. Okay, and so what's going to happen, that big T, right, which is right here, is going to come down. That big T is going to come from up here. Okay, and the little t, okay, is going to come in from the side over here, and that little t is going to be right there. Okay, so anywhere where that little t shows up is going to be right here. So it gets a little t from the left-hand side over here, and it gets a little t from top in the red. Okay, so that this is a, whoops, I screwed up on that, right? It's okay. It's easy to make mistakes on these, right, especially when you're dyslexic like I am, right? So, right, you get a little t from up here, and you get a little t from over here, right? And so basically everything in this column here is going to be big T's, okay? And everything in this row across here is going to get a little t from the left-hand side. Okay, now in the top there's another little t here, so, right, these two are going to be homozygous recessive, okay? Basically, like these ones up here that are short because they're homozygous recessive, okay? And then these two here are going to be heterozygous, okay? And they're going to be tall, right? Just like the parent up here, right? That heterozygous tall was the parent. That was what we got this one from over here, right? So that's just kind of a quick run through of what we did today, right? And tomorrow we're going to be looking a little bit more at genotypic ratios as opposed to phenotypic ratios.